Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Madison Fire District regular session, March 19th, 2025, 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Donaldson.
Here.
Mr. Lee.
Here.
Mr. Sill.
Here.
Mr. Wayman.
Here. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to explain that we have to have a brief executive session, probably 5 minutes or so, and the board will be leaving the room for that period of time, and then we will be back in and carry on with the regular agenda. Ms. Dame, would you announce what we're going in for?
Yes, it's my understanding that we are going into an executive session to discuss personnel, employment, hiring, compensation under ORC 121-22G1. And then, even though the agenda says collective bargaining matters, it's my understanding we're going to deal with that at the end of the meeting. Correct, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. So it would just be the personnel, employment, hiring, compensation per G1.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to go in executive session?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Lee. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Wayman.
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Sill.
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Time is 7:02. Okay, at this time, I will ask for a motion to go back into regular session. The time is 7:13.
All motion.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Bob. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Sill?
Yes.
Okay, and we met in executive session, and at this time, we're going to, I will entertain a motion to employ Madeline Womack with the Madison Fire District.
Yeah, that motion. Second. I'll second.
Made by Mr. Adams, seconded by Mr. Lee.
That's fine.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sill?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
No.
Okay. At this time, we will ask Miss Dame to swear in Madeline, please.
Chief, can I borrow your blue pen? Yes. I have a red one. All right, Madeline, you're going to raise your right hand and repeat after me, okay? I, Madeline Womack,
I, Madeline Womack,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will
that I will
support the Constitution
support the Constitution
and will obey
and will obey
the laws of the United States
the laws of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
that I will,
that I will,
in all respects,
in all respect,
observe the resolutions and policies
observe the resolutions and policies
of the Madison Fire District
of the Madison Fire District
and will faithfully,
and will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
the duties of full-time firefighter paramedic.
the duties of full-time firefighter paramedic.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
After you're done.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
She's supposed to be able to carry a 200-pound person up a ladder.
She could probably pick you up and carry you up the ladder.
You taking a break? You taking a break?
At this time, we'll take a brief break, and anyone that wants to exit the room to go to another room and socialize or whatever are most welcome to do that. We're going to take a short break.
Thanks.
Welcome, Madeline. We got that done anyway. We got more battles to fight for the night's over. It's going to be a staunch drinking night when I get home.
Anytime I see a proud father.
I think it is, Bob. I think it is. He's the fire chief in Goose Lake, I think.
I know. Tell me about it. It's like that's like my daughter's doing.
Yeah, I know.
Hi.
I'm Stephanie Kirby. I live across the wall from more Becky, your sister.
Yeah.
She lives across the street. I used to live
Okay, yeah.
okay.
You live on, where on Bennett or no?
I'm on 84.
You're on 84 now, but I thought you said you lived on Bennett.
No, I've always been on
Sorry, I heard you was one of the used to be. Nice to meet you.
Do we have a room? big enough for them?
Hope
I
so.
think most of them are
It's a
leaving.
big building, so I, you know,
Yeah, we better.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
We
better.
paid a lot.
Yeah.
We paid a lot for this
Yeah.
big building, you know.
Next to the pumper.
If
Yeah.
not, we've got a nice workout room.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, at this time, we will continue with the meeting. And the oath was taken here. We have a set of minutes from the February 19th meeting, which I was not here, but I would like to hear a motion on the minutes.
Yeah, that motion.
Okay, Mr. Adams and Mr. Lee. Any discussion on the minutes? Roll call, please.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Stain?
Mr. Wayman?
Abstain. Okay, next we have the bills and payroll. We'd like to hear from Ms. Clapp at this time.
Okay. Our bills was $80,497.21. Payroll was $195,959.74, for a total of $276,456.95.
Do I hear a motion on the bills and payroll?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Lee? Okay, any discussion on the bills and payroll? Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask Joanne for the February financial report at this time.
Okay, I'm reading from their fund summary report. Our starting balance for February was $6,151,968.08. Our month-to-date revenue was $151,485.21. Our year-to-date revenue is $261,354.74. Again, our month-to-date expenditures was $276,456.95. Our year-to-date expenditures is $649,284.30. We started March with $6,026,996.34. We have encumbered right now $1,490,193.86. Oh, if we were to pay everything that came in right now, we would have a balance of $4,536,802.48. And if you're wondering, the adjusting factor, and actually I've asked for the fireman's assistance, is because I'm having trouble with one of their deposits into their they have like a deferred comp, and it's an outside vendor, and they keep sending it back to the bank.
Okay.
Uh,
Question from Bob.
yes, sir. The $1,139,000, what's the biggest piece of that?
It's the biggest pieces are dispatching.
Okay. And of the 284 at the bottom?
That is the squads.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Clapp? Okay, we'll move now to our opening public portion. Not too much public here. Mr. Brewer, do you have anything for us?
Sir.
Okay, we'll move on to legal counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, there has been a request for another executive session, as noted on the agenda. The only other thing that I have to report on is a hearing on our pending Bureau of Workers' Compensation case has been scheduled for next week, so we should find out in the relatively near future what's going to transpire with that. So I just wanted to make the board aware.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Dame?
Thank you.
Okay, old business. Staffing review, Chief?
So I'm picking up where we left off last month with a little more of a breakdown for cost and what we're looking to do as an officer corps to bolster the staffing on the weekends during the day, and then also in the evenings at Station 2. And a big part of that is to try to curb some of the overtime and also provide a better just a better overall coverage for the community with an extra person in those spots. So it's on the one sheet there. So if you look at I have the numbers in 12s there. Currently, those 2 spots in the daytime at Station 3 from Saturday and Sunday, those are not shifts right now. So we were looking at putting those on as shifts, adding those 24 hours for Saturday and Sunday. And that would be at a cost of at 100% coverage, which rarely happens. I'd say we're probably closer to 90 or 95. That would be a cost of about $37,440. We rounded up, so we were, there's no surprises, so that would be the max dollars, probably even over. And then also the second part of that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Got one here, got one here.
We're sharing. Oh, do you need one, Mr.? No, I've got it. I'm good. We're good. I got plenty. I don't like candy here. All right, so, and then part B of that, we're looking to, we're getting, the call volume is increasing, markedly right now, the last couple of years, and I think it's just going to continue to go up, especially with the construction of the nursing home here. I mean, that we're anticipating that's going to be, several hundred right there. Another one down north there is boosting their numbers. They were at half capacity, and we were running well into the hundreds there. It's probably going to double in Station 2's area. So in order to plan for the future and also just better service to the community, we'd like to add the 12-hour spot at Station 2 as well to help cover some of these the increase in run and just provide a better, a safer environment, not only for the staff but for the community. So last year, I know we talked about with Joanne with the overtime numbers, and they've been kind of climbing each year. And last year's was 169,306. And that pink slot is technically a full-time spot, but typically that's where our overtime is, that PM spot at night at Station 2 or Station 3, depending on how it shakes out. But usually that's, it could be one a week. It could be one every day for the whole week. It could be 3 or 4. Some months there's nothing there because it's not really a high usage month for vacation or holidays and what have you. But that's typically what we would knock out if we were to add this part-time spot. And this is truly a sign-up spot. It's not adding a full-time or any benefits or pension or anything. So as a snapshot in the lower right there, so if you add the part-time weekends for that spot for a part-timer at top rate with their the Medicare, Medicaid, all that stuff, the part-time PM shifts, which is 131,000 and change. We're slated to do more transports this year, and as a conservative number, I'm anticipating about $120,000 more that would go into the budget to help offset some of these numbers. And if you look on the left there, through St. Patty's Day on the far left, lower left there's transports only for the last 4 years. You'll see in 22 we were at 4, the numbers are smaller for me even now. I need bigger glasses, but 469, I believe. And then you fast forward to 25, we're at 584, and that's through 2.5 months. That's the increase in those 4 years.
Wow.
From last year to this year, we're almost 70 runs just through 2.5 months. So that extrapolates out to almost nearly 300 more transports just in 1 year, if you factor that the rest of the year. So when you add, and we pull in about 425 a run, so I was conservative, so I just multiplied 300 times 400, and I came up with 120,000 for the reimbursements to help offset some of those costs for these extra staff members. And then you figure on the, I went back and counted the whole year. We had a total of 279 overtime shifts. If we were to add that part-time spot and we were to manage it properly, which we would, we hire the people, we fill those spots, so that when somebody does dump a shift or take off or call off sick, we have a buffer, so it's not automatically overtime. We still have another spot to go before we get there. Right now, we do not have a buffer. If somebody's off, it's overtime right now for us. We could save almost 63% of that if we add that spot and we knock out some of that overtime. So that savings is about 106,000 and change. And then on top of that, we pay 24% pension, which when you multiply 24% times 106,000, you get to $26,000. So when you factor all that out, and these are projections, and I know we have to watch this once this were to happen, we could actually save money by adding these spots in the staff, and not only add people and add hours for part-time so we can attract more, we could also just help just add positions and add add more spots to help the community be a little bit safer and just help the staff out. And 3 and 3 is kind of a bare bones number at night. 4 is an ideal number because when you go on fire calls, you have a driver, you have an engineer, you have an officer, and you have 2 jumps in the back that actually pull hose and do a majority of the work. The officer manages the scene, and then the pump operator is really busy setting up the engine and getting water to that crew. So when we drop the 3, the officer has to do not only managing command, they have to jump in the crew and help pull hose. So this is, I think, the start of maybe moving up to increasing staffing. Maybe we'll look at this each year and see if we can possibly keep moving up a little bit. And Mr. Adams, you asked like what was a pie in the sky kind of wish list number, and I thought about that for a while, and I talked to the officers. I think realistically with our geographical area and with how we run and how much we're running and increasing in calls, I mean, honestly, a 5 at Station 2 and 4 at Station 3 would be ideal. I don't know if the budget, I wouldn't want to jump there yet and redline anything, but I think this would be a good start in getting us going there to just have a better, make our people safer here, and also offer just a better service to the community with a little bit more people to help out and cover more of those calls, spread it out. So I'll entertain any questions. And again, these are, the numbers are going up. There's no doubt about it. It's across the
We're
board.
definitely going up. Go ahead, Bob.
Chief,
Yes.
this was before you came on, well, before you became chief. When UH closed the emergency, we had discussed the possibility of another ambulance not owned and staffed by the fire district, but a private entity or a different entity. Whatever became of that discussion?
I would have to defer
We
to-
determined that we weren't able to do that on our premises and that they needed to find space in the community. There were some suggestions made for different locations that they might want to reach out to. UH indicated that they were going to do that. I
Okay.
haven't heard anything since. So.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the chief on these matters?
Just anticipated hires, these would be part-time hires?
Yeah, these would be part-time hires.
How
'cause
many
it-
do how many do we need
Well-
combined with the staff we have now to accomplish this?
Yeah, so those hours at night, that's 4,388 hours when you take 7 days a week times 12 times 52. So when you look at it in terms of a full-time coverage, our full-timers are scheduled to work 2,600 hours. Our part-timers probably work, some of them work minimums, which is 24 a month, which might be maybe 300 hours a year, and then some of them work upwards of 1,000 to 1,500 hours. So it changes because part-time, they have other jobs. It might be 96 hours this month, it might drop to 48, it might jump to 144. So that's really the tricky spot we get in. So I think if we open these up, we start hiring, and then we see how the schedule fills out, and then we just kind of just manage it real tight and keep an eye on. And the key is getting these signed up early in the calendar process, and I'll talk about the scheduling software here soon. So we get them signed up early, get these covered, so the full-timers have the ability to they don't have to pick all their shifts at the beginning of the year to be off. Some of them they do, but a majority they can just dump them whenever they want, as long as it doesn't create overtime in that day. But if we can fill these early on and early in the sign-up process so that they're there, and then when we have somebody off, we have that buffer. So I would say, to answer your question, probably to cover those, we're hiring Maddie tonight's going to take care of 2,600 of the hours that are open now. So that's going to force who we have here to find other shifts and maybe fill in the other opens. That's gonna probably, it'll help with the schedule right now. So I think as we go, we'll probably start with 1 and 2 and then just keep adding as we need to make sure we're at the right number, so we don't have part-timers that aren't getting their hours. So that's always the delicate balance when you have people that kind of can pick and choose how many hours they want to work. So I would say we start with 1 and 2 and we go up from there.
So, am I thinking right that with Maddie taking 26, did you say it was the 4368 number?
Yeah, that's how many hours we're opening up.
Right.
She's going to cover 2,600.
Right.
We have open hours right now because we're down a full timer. So they're per the contract. I think it's 2656, somewhere in there. It's 2650. It's close to that number. Is what they're scheduled to work every year.
Okay. So that leaves like 1,800 hours left.
Yeah.
To
So
do what you want to do.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, that's in addition to what we have currently. So I think we'd have to probably see how it fills out, wait a month, and then possibly put people on as we open it up.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying that if Maddie's going to take away from that 4,000, she's not.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I think some of the hours will shift because she'll go to a shift and those 24 that day she's getting plugged in there, so that's going to cover 2,600. So it kind of, again, this will be kind of a slow process as we onboard people and fill those shifts.
I think I'm a little confused now, because I was thinking that 26 was also gonna come off of that 43. So you're saying it's not?
It will to some degree.
Well, to what degree? I mean, are we talking?
Well, we don't know because we don't know.
Well,
I think we've gone without that spot for 6 months now, so people have there's been a lot more open hours.
Well, what's the 43 number that you're talking about? That's the hours you're adding by
Yeah,
new shifts.
right.
She's not taking any of those new shift hours. She's taking.
right, because that'd be a new shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, at nighttime, yeah. But the
Okay.
people we have are going to have to find, there's 2,600 hours that are actually going to go away. So they're going to have to find, they're probably going to gravitate to those hours that are going to open up. Because currently we have people working those hours. So it's like,
So what hours, what's the total of hours right now without adding this? How many are there? What would be like
What
the
are we running the
approximate total?
district with right now?
Yeah. Because we have overtime.
yeah, like I said, but the majority of the overtime is at night where that pink slot is. That's a full-time spot. Usually there's somebody off almost, I'd say more than half the time. There's somebody on a Kelly or vacation day. So that slot at night is usually open for overtime. We have a lot of people that we have it open for voluntary for the 6th spot.
So that pink spot there.
That's
So-
just an
so-
example of where it's at.
So how many hours is that approximately? Do we know?
Well, for the week it's 80. It's 7 times 80. It's 12 hours.
I guess
night,
I'm
so
looking at
84.
for the whatever total.
Yeah, that would be the same 4,388 hours. So like I
Okay.
said, last year we had 279 shifts,
Okay.
which is not quite one a day. If we were to add that person on at night, that takes away that overtime for the first person being off. And that would take away, I counted it literally a few hours ago, that would take away 175 of those 279s and leave a part-time earner who's a lot cheaper, probably about half the money.
Okay.
Question.
Well, that would cover part of that. Let's say this pink spot here.
Oh, it's not going to knock out the overtime completely, but it'll
And then
knock a
we
good
would
part of
be,
it.
and then we'd need to cover that 4368 with whatever, how many people.
I think the important part to know is you don't have to cover that 4,300.
Correct.
It's just an additional.
It's just there, right, to help.
Yeah.
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 Question, Chief.
Yes.
Maddie isn't fulfilling a new slot. She's fulfilling an existing slot, right?
Correct.
Yes.
But that spot's been open for several months, and part-timers have been filling that spot.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this scheme here does not reflect that spot that she's filling.
No, we're treating that as filled with this.
Okay.
So yeah, her numbers are not even in here. That's
I think you need some scheduling software.
well, funny you bring that up.
Where are you gonna get that? Questions, Matt? Anybody else got questions for the chief on this? Okay, we'll move down to new business, and someone's gonna talk about software, I think, because it's not my forte.
So this is company's TCP, and they're also known as a Lad Tech. I believe there is a user's list or a client list, and it's probably a dozen pages long or more. And several of the communities around us use this and have had great success with it. I know Lieutenant Brewer works at Leroy as well, and they use it over there, and everybody seems to really enjoy the interface with it, and it's very productive for their agencies, and does a lot of things real time. If you look in your packets there, I did mention it briefly last month. All the officers voted to go towards the system to help not only with scheduling, but also to help with components of payroll that are somewhat challenging on the officer's end. Because what we do now, if someone wants a shift, they have to email the captain. The captain has to go into the spreadsheet, delete out the color or the person that was there, or just add in a name in the open spot. And we have, upwards of close to 40 staff here now that move shifts around. So every time that happens, they have to manually enter something into a spreadsheet. So at the end of 2 weeks, they have to go in there, confirm that that calendar in that spreadsheet is good. They upload it for Joanne to look, and then we have a spreadsheet that we put all their hours on for each individual person, and then that has to be calculated. But then we have hashes that actually, when people get hung over for a half hour, have to get entered into that field, which kills the formula. So then you have to manually add up everything to get their number. So I don't want to go into too much more detail because I'm probably boring you, but that's the process to get payroll done on Sundays.
Chief, I got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
On page 2 of the agreement, talks about supported hardware. What is this system going to run on?
Basically, it's all software. Our tablets, phones, desktops.
No. It has to run on some sort of a hardware system.
You mean for the company itself?
No. I'm on the agreement.
It runs on apps on their phones or their tablets, and then they can also get to it from their desktop.
Mr. Lee, I don't think we're purchasing hardware from them or leasing hardware. That's not part of the services that we're getting from them. We're
Okay.
just getting a license for the software.
Right, I understand that. It just says, supported hardware means any hardware purchased or leased from TCP. So they're identifying we could purchase or lease. I'm just asking, that's not in the plans right now.
Correct, yeah. It's all basically their software into our devices, and then we manage our information. So we have to use their system and build it out for our staff and our needs. And then, we're purchasing the license for it.
That's fine.
Okay.
Let's go over to item 10. It talks about a monthly fee. And, I see on the first page, it's $34.20 for the package, and implementation is $885, or total $4305. That's the initial purchase and installation.
Correct.
What about monthly fees?
There's no monthly, it's just an annual payment that we would do each year, depending on if we pick the 3-year or the 5-year plan.
Okay, so they're recommending 60 months or 5-year. So we pay $34.20 each year?
Correct. After the first year with the 885, we would then pay $34.20 each year.
Okay.
Until the contract reaches its maturity. And the
Well,
reason
except for the provision that after the first anniversary date, with 30 days' notice, they can increase that cost.
Right.
That's what's in the contract.
Yeah.
And then, any year after that. And then for subsequent renewals, they can also increase it up to, I think it was 10%.
Right. And that usually happens.
I just wanted to be clear that that's not our set amount
Right. I know.
for every year. They do reserve the right to change it.
Right. Okay, those are my questions. I went through the list here. It's a pretty impressive list. So, Chief, have you talked to any of your counterparts that have used this?
Yeah,
I noticed Painesville police are not. The township is.
Concord Fire is and Leroy Fire is,
Okay.
according to this list.
Yeah. They say it solved a lot of their problems, and I haven't heard them say a bad thing about it. They use it they integrate a lot of these features at some point into their operations because it helps to streamline and make your jobs easier, and especially with regards to hopefully payroll would go a little bit smoother for us too. And right now we do a lot of different things to do double and triple checks, but this should help streamline that as well. But I really haven't heard a negative thing about it.
Okay, who's responsible for inputting data? Each firefighter?
It'll be on them to sign up for the shifts, and then it'll be on us to manage on the administration side, to approve and move and do all that stuff within the system.
Oh,
So
I imagine Lori?
she'll probably have access to it just so she can help with her end of things. But
Okay, so I'm a firefighter here,
yeah,
and I say, I want to sign up for this. I talk to my captain or my lieutenant.
right now we have it's a process. So we have full timers that pick their Kellys for the year, so that'll input for that calendar year, and then they can send in their vacation and all their holiday picks. So that'll be entered by whoever our designees are for the calendar. Then for part-time, each month, each 28-day cycle, we per our sign-up policy, they all get their first 24. So we still have to figure that out, how that's going to work with that system compared to what we currently do. So they all get their 24, and then it goes back around by seniority, and then they pick up to 144, I believe, is the number, and then it goes to the next person and the next person. So there's a hierarchy built based on seniority.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. So we got 30-plus people that want to get their hours into the system. And it comes up through the ranks. Who's the person that's actually going to sit down with their phone or their iPad or maybe their PC and actually say, for Maddie, she's going to do these hours and so on and so forth?
Right now, Captain Sopko spearheads the calendar process. I have to approve all the time off, so I will have some capacity there. I'll probably start with him, although he's getting to his twilight of his career. So I will have a redundant person also coming up to help fill in that role. So again, And once we purchase this, I'll let you know how it's going.
I imagine you will.
Doesn't it happen automatically?
Okay, I think I'm out of questions, Chief.
Chief, to
Thank
help
you.
you out a little bit, I
Yeah.
did use this system in Perry Village for payroll on there. What happened was the chief approved it or the lieutenant approved it, and then when payroll day came, I put the range in, and I was able to do an Excel spreadsheet out to it and added it up, right up for me. And
Okay,
then if there's changes in there, they also had a comment page that they can do changes on it.
okay, hey, you're lucky. You got someone that's been working with the system.
Okay, anybody else have any questions on this software?
No, sir.
I reviewed the agreement. Obviously, the only thing that I would make the board aware of, which I'm sure is pretty standard, and obviously the other entities accepted it, they basically, relieve themselves of any liability. They have no liability whatsoever. It's as is. They don't make any claims if there's any breach of material or anything like that. So I don't think that they're willing to negotiate on any of those terms, but I just bring it to the board's attention so that you're aware that that's in the contract. Even a waiver of, jury trial and, a waiver of class action. So they've covered everything.
But you're satisfied with this
Yeah,
contract?
I mean, I don't think you're going to negotiate
Okay.
to put that liability back on them, and I think
Right.
a lot of this is just software. It's a way to manage kind of our data and our input, so.
Very good.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Does the board wish to approve that purchase this evening?
Wait,
Or do you guys want more time?
Yes, we're fine.
no, I'm ready.
Probably need-
I'm ready, but I got another question.
You just need to decide the
Joanne, go ahead.
You need to decide the 3-year contract or the 5-year.
Oh,
When you do
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Recommendation, Chief?
What would you suggest, Chief?
At first, the 5-year seems, I don't know if we've really ever done a 5-year contract. We've done 4 with the medical billing, but, I mean, seeing as, my only concern was the 5-year came with a 25% discount. And when I talked to the sales rep, Doug Graham, he kind of implied that, yeah, I can do a 3-year, but it's probably going to be closer to full price. And however, he was able to keep the same terms and the same discount. So it's the same price whether we go with 36 months or 60 months. In this world, things change so much. I know people that use it, love it, and probably would be okay with a 5-year. However, I think I'd be more comfortable with a 36-month, and we'll get it going, get to love it and figure it out. And then at the end of 3 years, we'll reevaluate. Maybe in 2 years, something else comes along and it's, just awesome, and maybe we got to consider that. 5 years seems to be a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chief, on that.
Good idea.
That's fine with me.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to purchase the Atlex scheduling software for a 3-year contract.
Yeah, that motion.
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Adams and Mr. Anderson. Any further discussion on this?
Well, just that Stacy Damon has mentioned we need to get that changed or whatever you were explaining.
Oh,
Well, I don't think they're
There's
probably
nothing-
going to
okay.
negotiate on the indemnity. I'm just making the board aware that it's pretty strict in the limitation of liability on their
Gotcha.
end.
Okay, no problem.
all right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Okay, next we have a resolution this evening, 25-08. That's a resolution I don't have in front of me. Ms. Dane, would you read that, please?
Yes, it's a resolution accepting a gift from Betty Bailey in the amount of $35 in remembrance of Steve Burke.
Okay, do I hear a motion on resolution 25-08?
So move.
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
Moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Okay, we move now to the all-important Chiefs report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Try to make this brief for everybody. Some anniversaries to celebrate. Firefighter James Lagagna has been on 3 years. Firefighter Greg Walker has been on 3 years as well. And then firefighter Jimmy Turek, he's not here tonight. I think he was on today. He just crossed 43 years on the department. Amazing. Financial overview. Tax revenue, I don't believe the first half has come in yet, or did it join now?
No, it's due at the end of the month.
Yeah, we're at 2.7% of that year to date, and then EMS revenue collected, we're at 17.6 through 2 months, and we've spent about 7.5% of our annual budget so far. Staffing is stable. We had 2 part-timers resign recently due to their other full-time jobs, and they just couldn't commit to the hours here. And also, we also covered the Madeline Womack hire. Call volume, you can see in the chart there, as usual, and as expected, we're trending upwards. Call volume, we had 330 calls for service in February, and last year we had 304 calls, February 24. Fire inspections are ongoing. You got any questions? I don't know, is Captain Sopko on? I don't see him. Vehicles, we had some PMs done on the engines on 2133 and 2123. Their pump testing will come a little bit later on when it warms up. And then 2123, which is Station 2's engine, had rear brakes installed. Buildings, the officers talked about just starting some spring cleaning when the weather breaks. I think it kind of teased us a little bit this week, so that'll be put on hold a little bit longer. Officer recommendations, so we completed the full-time process. We did discuss the LadTech software. Thank you for approving that. The officers are excited to get started with that. And also I have been in contact with Lexipol as well. We executed that contract on Ms. Dame's request, so I'll be starting that process as well soon. Some other things to note, and training updates. Live fire training, we did that last month in Geneva. We do have another one scheduled for April 12th, I believe, for the rest of the department, so hopefully we get enough folks out there to take part in that as well again. We have hose advancement going on right now, and also building construction online. 2 of our lieutenants are going to advanced fire investigation training outside of the department. We're just about set to honor Lieutenant Al Van Kramer at Emmitsburg for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. I traveled to Dublin, Ohio to Washington Township Fire, and it was a kind of a setup meeting to go to Maryland, and I went with the all the families were there of the ones that died in the line of duty, and I went down with Al's widow Kitty, and they all introduced themselves, and a lot of the people that were there as well were previous honorees. Their families were there, and one to note was there was a mother and daughter there that actually joined into the last group, which is a group from Ohio that helps families that lose a loved one in the fire service, and they are part of this group that helps people get ready for Emmitsburg. And the foundation actually helped pay off the house that they had signed papers for, I believe a week before he passed, and also helped put the wife and the daughter through college. So they're a great organization, and that likes to help out the families that are left behind. Very powerful, moving meeting. So I was down there one Saturday a couple weeks ago. So that'll be, we're traveling to Emmitsburg in May 2nd through the 4th. So we'll take part in some workshops. We'll have a candlelight vigil at night on Saturday. And there's also an official ceremony from, I believe, 10 in the morning till noon on Sunday, where all I forget the number, I thought it was around 140 that passed last year, or they're honoring this year. So looking forward to that, and bringing back some more motivation to just do better for the fire service in general, keep people safer. And also today A Shift took part in Community Champions for Seniors, with partners with the Council on Aging, and also with the Madison Senior Center. So the crew went down and helped serve meals and mingle and meet the community, and it was well received and a lot of fun for us. So there should be some pictures floating online of everyone in some hair nets and tight gloves. So with that being said, that's my chief's report. My only question Just to circle back to the staffing, just to ask the board, are you okay with the augmentation of the staffing model to increase our coverage and with adding those particular hours?
Yeah, I'm good with
Any
that.
reservations? Okay. Then,
No, I think increasing the coverage winds up lowering the overall overtime, and that's a good thing.
that's the intent, yeah, so.
Well, does that possibly mean, where you mentioned 5 firefighters here at Station 3 and 4 at Station 2, that kind of a want, a need?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a long-range planning with, we'll have to scale it with the call volume and
Right.
and what the officers deem, as we grow and kind of expand. I think Station 2 is the busier area, so I think 5 down there and possibly 4 here, all 24 hours, I think would be the goal in the end. But I think we just need to do baby steps so we don't redline the budget and we just kind of grow with it and grow with the community as they call us more.
And Chief, let me just say, and you and I have talked, well, when you first came on board with regard to that call volume graph, that's just going up and up and up, I haven't seen, well, I think there was one little bitty dip, but then it jumped up again. So from my standpoint, the need is getting greater and greater. And I, for one, am willing to, support you however possible to try and plan for and address that need that's going to be coming up in the future.
Sure. Yeah, and it's not just us, it's all across the board, all
Oh, sure.
communities, all of Lake County, just in the fire service across Ohio and even in the nation, so we're not unique to that issue.
We have an older population,
Yes.
which means that call volume is not, at least in my lifetime, I don't think it's going to go down.
I agree. Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief? Okay, at this time, I will ask if there's anybody from the public that would like to speak this evening. And we'll move on to board comments, closing board comments. Anyone?
Yeah, just welcome Maddie aboard.
Sure.
Nice to have another firefighter here and keep on moving things along. Hopefully the staffing help chief a little bit more and you all. So I know how busy it is out there and I know you guys are busy all the time, so you guys are doing a good job. That's all.
Yep.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, at this time, I'll ask Ms. Dame to explain our next executive session this evening.
Okay, it would be a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel employment compensation per ORC 121-22G1 and also collective bargaining matters per ORC 121-22G4.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Sill?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes. The time is 8:02. And there Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, made by Mr. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Lee. The meeting's adjourned at 8:36. Oh, roll call, I'm sorry. Wait a minute, guys.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Got ahead of myself.
Congratulations.
Thanks.